views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Silver Gaia Show. The goddesses are here to help guide and support others on their own personal journey, blending ancient ways with modern times. Goddesses are known for their love and compassion for others and the planet. We're coming together at this time during an important shift of consciousness. Here's your hosts, Brie and Stephanie.
And welcome back to the Silver Gaia Show. And I guess we have a new topic now.
We do.
Yeah.
But before we get to that,
okay,
I want to talk about what's happening at Crystal Voyage.
Yes, do.
In Tacoma.
Yes. Crystal Voids.
Crystal Voyage.
Voyage. Why did you say that?
So, Crystal Voyage is bringing in an amazing person, and Tina Zion, a fourth-generation psychic who has been practicing and teaching holistic healing for over 30 years. Her hands-on, anxiety-free workshop.
Nice.
Okay, so we know I need that one. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm actually planning on going to this.
Good.
And everybody go to Crystal Voyage's website. Check this out. Mm-hmm. We're going to have it on our site also, on the silvergaia.net. But go to Crystal Voyage. Check this out. I highly suggest this. It's going to be a great workshop. It's Friday, September 16th. And Saturday the 17th and the 18th. And, it goes all the way to Monday the 19th for additional advanced training. I know I'm going to all that. Mm-hmm. I need it.
Right.
So check it out. And next week, Debbie,
right,
the operations manager from Crystal Voyage, is going to be on the air with us.
Oh, exciting.
And she's going to tell us some things that are happening over there. Uh-huh. And we're going to be able to, she'll be able to explain more than I can.
Okay, great.
And I got this piece of paper in front of me. So everybody, check out Crystal Voyage also on their crystals and what they have. Just some amazing stuff. I was in there today going, ooh, you got more new stuff.
Nice.
I know I can't shop, but I want to see.
Right.
Let me play with all the stones.
Yeah.
All right, so we better get serious because we really do have something I want to talk about, and it is not for children.
Yes.
And I want the audience to know that it's not so much R-rated, but I'm going to talk about it in a clinical sense, but I'm going to bring in some ancient goddess wisdom and how I got through it and how it helped me.
Great.
So, Shauna, how this came up was after the show last week, we talked about chocolate. Yep. And I heard you say it was usually you have chocolate when you have sadness. Is that true?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Chocolate, candy bars, pastry, sweet generally tends, for me in my work, it's a red flag and it's kind of a clue to where to look, child heart, woundedness, sadness,
right?
A really deep heart wound.
Mm-hmm. Right. So you brought that up, and then we went downstairs and we were talking before you left and stuff, and I was going, I know what this is from. Mm-hmm. And I've healed it several times.
Right.
But I guess I didn't heal that little girl in me.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So at the age of 9, I was molested as a child. Mm-hmm. And I remember chocolate and sweet stuff started back then, after we talked. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, I've healed it. What's going on? Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of like, as Susan had told me one time, she goes, it's like a scab that keeps opening. The scab comes off, you have to heal again, right? And it's a never-ending healing situation anyway. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, so I've tried to talk to different people about it, and they don't want to listen to it, right? And through the years, right? Oh, get over it.
Yeah.
All right, so I've gotten over it, right? How come it came back?
Right.
So when I came back to Washington, after almost 30 years of being gone and teaching, doing the stuff I'm doing, because I'm 57 now, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like going, I got to go to a family reunion? You're kidding. 2 of the people there were the ones that did this to me. Mm-hmm. One had to face me in the eye. And all I can say is you might have touched my body, but you didn't take my innocence, you didn't take my spirit, you didn't take my soul.
Right.
Okay? And the other person asked me to forgive him, and I did. Mm-hmm. So that made me feel really good, right? Okay,
right.
I took that power back.
Yeah.
Right.
That I was holding on to. And so by taking that power back, then I ended up doing a soul exchange, right?
Uh-huh, okay.
Bringing back, receiving anything that they have kept of mine, right?
Oh, okay.
And so, soul retrieval, excuse me. Mm-hmm. like I said, this is a little hard for me, but I'm going to do this today because this is time for it to come out.
Okay.
And so I ended up doing the soul retrieval and doing the equal exchange. You know, they got a ball of light back, you know, and I got my soul back and stuff, different parts, because we do give parts of our souls away to people. And sometimes it's from this lifetime or past lifetimes or whatever.
Was this person, did you do this with the person, or did you do
no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I did this alone.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
I
know.
did it in my bathtub where I'm famous for being in my tub, right?
Okay.
I need jets and
Right.
candles and stuff. So anyway, so I'm doing the soul retrieval, and I saw myself as this little girl, wounded. And I thought, okay, now is ancient goddess time. So I called in all the ancient Lemurian goddesses and all the ancient goddesses to surround me with their love and their unconditional love for me. And so I could heal that little girl inside of me, right? And right now, even when I'm talking, it feels like she's jumping up inside of me, like, you know, I've got this jitteriness going through me right now, right?
Right.
And she goes, we're finally talking about it. Good, you're getting it out. You're getting it out. I'm going to be healed now, right? And so so I did the soul retrieval, right? And so...
What is a soul retrieval?
All right, so soul retrieval is an ancient form of getting parts of your soul back. So what I do is I say, anybody that has a part of my soul, please come forward. And I have candles around the bathtub. I've meditated, brought in all my guides and everything, right? And so then I just say, you know, if you're a part of my soul, just come forward. And so in one hand, I'll have an energy ball for each one of them.
Okay.
Whoever shows up, right?
Right.
So like right now, I'm getting a pain in the left-hand part of my chakra right now. So obviously... the last part of it's working out right now.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm going to move my hand because, you know, I know, we got Eric in the room here. Okay. So anyway, so I'm exchanging. So at the same time, I'm getting back my soul and putting it back to me. I'm giving an energy ball of, you know, pure love and light right to them. Well, then sometimes there are stubborn ones, right? Where you have to demand it and just take it and switch it, right? But a soul retrieval is taking back who you are, because nobody has a right to have a part of your soul no matter what.
Right.
And a lot of people going, well, how can that happen? Because you gave it to them.
Right.
Like guilt, anger, frustration, anything that's a lower vibration, you actually give it to them. And so when I did this, you know, after seeing these two people, right? Because I was really young. I was 9, okay? So that's the difference. It's not like, you know, an adult, right?
Right.
And so when I saw them and I went home, and I was just like, oh, I made it through. I made it through, right? But I know that the ancient goddesses had to work on me.
Right.
So I ended up going back to Lemuria. And Lemuria and me is like, you know, that's going home, right? The elven world, everything to me is going home, right?
Right.
So when people say, you know, being a radio station can be my second home. No, my second home is going back to where I'm from.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, so I was like going, okay, I did that. Now what else do I need to do? Oh, I need to forgive that one other person I didn't forgive. And I forgave the other person, right? Because they asked for my forgiveness, and that meant a lot to me.
Right.
No, I'm so sorry what I did to you. And it was just like, wow, I forgive you. And I said, I love him to the person, too. I love you, and I forgive you. I've never seen that person again.
Right.
But it's done and over with, right?
Right.
So the one that happened at 9... Yeah, because the other one I was a little bit older with, okay? And that one's done and over with. Because when you can say, I love you, I forgive you, and give them a hug, you know it's over.
Yep.
So this is by a very trusted person that I thought, you know, to this day kind of surprises me, right? But it doesn't matter who or what or when. It just, what matters is that we're talking about it and bringing it out, because a lot of people do not want to talk about it.
Right.
So I have anxiety. Okay, so I'm labeled PTSD. You know,
right?
You know, doctors like to label you, right?
Right.
I'm going, no, I'm not healed all the way. And so, but being a multidimensional traveler, you have anxiety anyway. Yeah. But anyway, so what I did is I called the ancient ones in, and the elvins and all the goddesses from right and left, just to come in and be with me, right? And when they embraced me and let me just yell and scream and get it out, because I didn't come home till I was 50. So if you imagine 20s to 50s, that's a long time, right? And so I just had turned 50 when I came back here. And so that's 7 years ago.
Right.
And when I came back here, and I was just like, I got to get this out where I can handle this. Because one day, there's going to be somebody that needs to hear this story.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talked about the chocolate last week, I knew this was the day I was going to have to talk about it. It's not so much how dare that person do that to me.
Right.
How dare this or that, or did I allow it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that it happened and we can heal from it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it takes years of chocolate, I'm
Right.
sorry, years of chocolate to handle it for a little while, then it does.
Right.
So chocolate has stopped for a long time. And then I came back and it started up again.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's the wound that little scab came off somewhere
Right.
that needed to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
But with the ancient Lemurian ways and the elven ways, it was just sending love to that person
Mm-hmm.
and love to myself and love to that little girl, the I am of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that's why I want to talk about this topic, because there's so many empaths, healers, psychics, whatever you want to call that. We've all been through this of some sort, even if it hasn't been, you know, sexually abused.
Right.
There's mental abuse. There's abuse,
physical.
period.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us that are sensitives,
Mm-hmm.
and what I mean by psychic healers, psychics, right?
Right.
That we have to find ways to handle it, because you cannot teach or help somebody else if you can't help yourself.
Right.
And that's my big thing, and you guys know that.
Yeah.
And so for me to talk about this today, this is like the last of the sugar coating I had on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
That has to come off, the hardness, the whatever you want to call it, right? The last hidden part of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard to talk about it right now. Actually, I want to cry. And I can feel that little girl in me now calming down. And I'm like feeling her emotions. And she's like, she's happy.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I want to cry because it's coming out.
Right.
Excuse me. And so, you know, what would you say, Shauna, that to help someone like me that's finally coming out in the public and saying, this happened to me. I know it's happened to a lot of people. We're here to help. We've been through it. And, you know, at least for me, you know, not you or, you know, Stephanie. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying me. You know, so what would you offer, especially on diet-wise?
Well, the first thing I would say to you is acknowledge your courage.
Thank you.
Because that's never easy. And,
Right.
you know, what I wanted to address, too, when you were talking about that scab is, you know, the reason that it can be considered, or the analogy of the scab is useful to us logically, is because we're going to be confronted with triggers throughout our whole lives.
Right.
And so we can keep going back like you're doing systematically. And when you notice that trigger and you listen and you address it, you go
Right.
back and you can do some healing there. And then
Right.
that will get you another step further, right, in your
Right.
healing process. Because what I always like to tell my clients is you are not a problem to be fixed.
No.
You're a human being. You're constantly evolving. This is a journey.
Yes.
And, you know, you're never just going to dig in there and go, okay, I'm done.
Right.
It just does not work that way.
Right.
My best friend and mentor is almost 70, and she's still doing her work to
Right.
this day. And
Right,
it's,
right.
it's just, you know, the sooner we can accept that, which you do, that's what you're saying.
Right.
Is, okay, another layer, right? And
Just came off.
another layer
Right.
just came off,
Right.
and I'm a little bit closer. So, yeah, and so when you acknowledge that, and, you know, the sense I got before you even told your story was that she was so excited.
Yeah.
Your little girl was so excited
Yes.
to be heard. It's
Right.
like, I mean, literally, I had this vision of her just like jumping up and down and being just.
That's what I was feeling,
Yeah.
the anxiety inside of me.
It just was so exciting for her. So, you know, that's just honoring that and just acknowledging that and making that connection between your head and your heart that's something that takes people years, you know, to get to that point. I mean, literally, I have clients who come into my office who have no concept of child, adolescent. You know, I get into teaching transactional analysis, which is a different ego state.
Right.
Right.
No idea. You know, they're literally like looking at me like I'm talking a different language. And that just is so heartbreaking to me initially, because it's like you're so disconnected from, like you guys were talking about earlier with those vampires, that being able to have fun and the fun
Right.
wreckers, right? All of that stuff goes back to
Yep.
family
Consumes
of origin,
you.
what we were taught as children about
Right.
what was acceptable ways to be loved.
Right.
And unfortunately, for so many of us, as you're mentioning, you know, so many people have these really deep-seated heart wounds.
Yep.
Right.
Those originated at a time when we were our most vulnerable.
Right.
Right.
And so then when those heart wounds happen, we have to find a way to survive.
Right.
And we have to create strategies. So one of your strategies was
food.
Candy tastes good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
right.
that makes me not have to be present and think about how my heart is broken. You know, that's something a child would do. You have kids, you know these things.
Right.
It's a way to cope and survive. So, you know, what I would say after having this, you know, transparency and sharing this with everyone is just keep listening. You know, so if today, 2 things I would recommend. One is listen first if she wants a celebration. Because, you know, the other thing is those little people that live inside of us are not static.
Right.
They're always, they have information for us all the time. They get excited. They, you know, so oftentimes I'll say, what do you want to do that's fun to celebrate? Because this is a big celebration. This is a big deal.
I really want to go shopping, guys.
Yeah. So, okay. So she wants to go shopping, you know, and something I've done in the past is I've bought her some. I've said, what do you want? Okay. I'm in this store and you can pick anything you want. It might be a little figurine. It might be a stuffed animal. And it's just something really so important to honor her and say, thank you. Yeah. I'm listening. I'm committed to you. I appreciate that you gave me this information.
Right.
You know, because one of the issues that we have when we get into those systems of heart wounds and not listening and just going off and surviving and coping, is we can without meaning to put those ego states almost in a box and shut that down so tight that we have no idea. And you know, that's kind of where we go off into that victim and survival and all that as adults. So it doesn't serve us very well in our relationships and when these triggers come up, because again, as Susan was saying, there's messages out there for us. And I believe triggers are to force us, you know, and that might mean our lives get really crappy for a little while, but to force us to have to connect and listen. And hopefully force us to seek out people who can help us too. But
and if you're constantly talking, you can't listen.
Exactly. And exactly. And, you know, again, we spend so much time in our ego state in our head and using avoidance techniques like, well, we can use food as a way to avoid, but video games, music, constant TV, being depressed, having anxiety, all those things are part of avoiding the real core issue because it's scary as hell. And I get it. I've been through this. I've been in your shoes.
Have you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it is a huge concept and it's a huge, very common thing that I see all the time in my work.
Wow.
And it just breaks my heart because I'm sitting there listening to these little kids essentially, you know, tell me these stories, and it's just like my empathic side just wants to rescue, but that's not helpful, right? So I need to just sit and be patient. But you know, allowing that child to tell that story is so validating and so important. Yeah. So my recommendation would be to listen, keep listening.
I know she's talking about peanuts right now. She wants peanuts, and they go,
well, there you go.
Well, I got fake teeth. I can't eat peanuts. So maybe she has
peanut butter.
A spoon of peanut butter when I get home or something. You know, but no, I understand that because a lot of people keep this hidden in them.
Oh, yeah, they do. It's shame.
And it's like,
just so shame-based.
But it shouldn't be because we didn't do it.
Right.
You know, I didn't ask for this. I was 9 years old, you know.
For sure.
I didn't ask for it. She didn't ask for it. Diana didn't ask for it. You know, so why do these things, you know, my thing is quit hiding it. Let us help you. Find somebody that can help you with it.
Right.
You know, I don't have a problem being honest about myself. You know, I made my mistakes. I've done them, you know, because of ego at times. You know, I'm not going to deny that.
Right.
But also, we have to work on ourselves before we can work on others. I don't care who you are.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I will not let anybody work on me that's not working on themselves.
Exactly.
And if I find out they're all healed, then I'm sorry, because you know what? I know I'm not going to be all healed till I leave this planet. And then again, I'm going to go to heaven school, like Susan calls it, right? And I'm going to be working on myself again until I come back again. You know, I know I'm going back a couple more times. Yeah, and it may be in a different body.
Right.
You know, but it doesn't matter. I'll be back. You know, and we've talked about this before, you know. But the shame that goes on with this, we carry that shame. And you know what? I'm not carrying it no more. Nope. It is 4:29 and 30 seconds right now, or 4:21. Sorry, I just saw that flip real quick. 4:21 in the afternoon. And as I say right now, Brie is no longer carrying that shame.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so relieving right now that I can talk about this and not worry about it anymore.
How's the little one inside you?
She's calm.
Is she?
Yeah, I don't feel like anybody got any rum and coke around here.
Well, that's an adolescent. Don't feed your child alcohol, Brie.
But I really don't don't feel like that. I mean, I've got this from Jamba Juice, which wasn't a smart thing to get either, but we learned that not to get nothing from them either. But sorry, that's okay. This is our show.
Oops.
Yeah, we don't have to, it just has sherbet in it, not do sherbet. All right, so anyway, we're not knocking Jamba Juice. I should have just said no sherbet, please. Yeah. So anyway, so I've got this sitting here, right? And it's like, it's okay. It's help me when I need, but now I just want to throw it away all of a sudden now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I literally want to take that and say, here, Eric, will you throw this away for me?
Yeah. I'll drink it.
And you drink it with the shy and stuff and stop somewhere else. But it's so healing that I talked about it. I'm not kidding. I just want to get up and dance around. Good. People are going, you're a multi-dimensional traveler and you're like a little fairy that flies all around. Well, that's what I feel like right now. Except like, I put my little wings on and go flying around and stuff.
Awesome.
Did you want me to take you shopping?
I need to go shopping now.
Go shopping after
I haven't bought a new purse in 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that?
Goodness.
That's
time.
It's time.
Yeah.
I only got like 20 purses, so, it's not.
Well, you can
be consumer.
My husband, when I first got back here, living in Idaho and stuff, they didn't have all the stuff that they have here. So I went crazy. I mean, Coach and Juicy, and, all of them and stuff.
Goodness.
Yeah. Well, I came with my Michael Kors purse. That we did find there. And so I came back here buying things and stuff that, I just found on sale. So maybe that was helping that little girl at that time, though.
Of course,
maybe
shopping is another way to avoid.
Yep.
Spending money, being irresponsible with money, all of those things are ways to keep us from listening, to that voice and to our hearts. And, it's pervasive, kind of as Susan was talking about before, we are so disconnected, that it forces us into choosing fear over love.
Yep.
So many of us don't even know what that means anyways. They don't even know what joy feels like.
Right.
They don't know what love feels like.
Right.
So they don't know how to operate from love. So
right.
That's what if I can have people take away anything from their work with me, it's, if they can find some peace and be guided more on a daily basis from their heart instead of their head.
Mm-hmm. No, I
agree. And that's what you've done.
Right.
Exactly. It's perfect.
Wow, I cannot believe I talked about this. I got to tell you, all my guys are standing in this room right now, and I'm holding Stephanie's hand. I'm trying not to leave, and that's why I grab her hand when that happens and stuff.
Leave her body, not the...
Yeah. and they're all, like, crying. Because it's like they've been waiting for this day.
Right.
And as an open channel, and, they're all here, and your guys are here, and we always make sure our guides are with us anyway before we start the show. And it's like they're here, and I can see them crying. And it's just like, I don't want to cry right now. I'm on the air, right? And there's no box of Kleenexes in here anyway. So I'd have nowhere to wear it except put it on my shirt. And, but it's like, I'm free. Yeah. And my guides are letting me know it's about time you let this out for people. And I'm fine thinking. I'm going to look over your head now. But it took a lot for me to bring this out today. I've talked about it in seminars. I've talked about it in front of other people, to my clients, to a large group, but I've never through all my years put it on the air. And so, this is the first time. And it took you to come to explain chocolate to me, to be able to be courage enough, have the courage.
Right.
And that little girl wanted to be healed and get it out. And now she's calm, and my heart's not fluttering. I want to thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. See, you just needed to get, as soon as you asked me about the chocolate and I said sadness, like you just knew immediately. So you were ready. Yeah. You were ready. She was ready. It just was perfect. Wonderful timing.
Well, and the thing about it is our soul lets us know when we're ready to do things. When we're ready to heal, when we're ready to face dark night of soul. Exactly. When I faced my last dark night of soul, and, I have you on speed dial, luckily. And I was going to go find a shaman and get all looped up for it and go on a spirit journey. Oh, no, they weren't going to let me do it that way, right? They never let me do it the easy way. I got to do it the way that I got to face it so I don't question it. Right. And I found out that's the reason why. Because I question everything. Did I really see that? Did that really happen? What I mean? Is there really, I see my mom walking around. She transitioned over 3 years ago, right? and I see her walk around in her bathrobe, or she's in there petting the cat and stuff, right? And I'll say, Mom's in the house, or, you might want to be dressed. Right? But anyway, so we like to have fun with it. But, and I can see her in here right now, and she's actually crying. And it's like, it's time, Brie, that you brought this out and let go of it. And so I just want to let people know that there are so many people out there that have the same experience. They may not be talking about it.
Right.
Which I wish they would talk more about it.
So they could talk to their inner child about it, and that will help.
Right.
And listen to that inner child.
And I don't usually give away, how do I want to say this? I'm willing to talk to people right now about this.
Right.
And so go to the Silver Gaia website, get my phone number, and call me.
Yeah.
Leave a message, and or even just email me, and I will go ahead and talk with you guys and give some time over to people, because this was a big step for me.
Yeah.
And I've been, like I said, I've been talking in front of a lot of people, and I've been never on the air. And so I want them to know that I'm willing to give them some gifted time,
right,
to help them.
Okay.
And there's other people I know would be willing to do the same.
Oh, of course.
And so I know 5 other healers that are on board with this. So,
yes.
Because that was one thing I said, if I get through this, I'm going to give some time over. And they're saying, okay, let's get it.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And, and I know Susan would be one of them that would step right in there to help people and get that emotional counseling. She's amazing at emotional counseling. And, there's a thing that when I say that I can't work with somebody, if I feel I can't work with somebody, I send them to somebody else. I'm not in it about getting the dollar all the time, because it's not worth it to me.
Right.
If I can't help you, then you need to go see Sean or Stephanie or other people I know.
Right.
Because we all have different talents.
Exactly.
Talents. And the other thing is that sometimes we can be a mirror image for someone.
Right.
And it can affect them even more.
Right.
And I just went through a situation like that, and I said, I can't help.
Right.
And sent them to another healer that could help. So that's one thing that healers and psychics need to be responsible.
Yeah.
So, but we're really close to taking a quick break so I can get myself back together if Eric doesn't mind, because I'm going to lose it here for a minute. And we'll be right back with more Silver Gaia Show. See you in a little bit.
Hi, this is Susan Harmon, inviting you to join me every Friday, noon to 1 p.m. Pacific Time, for the Susan Harmon Hour. I'm always curious, and I enjoy discussing a wide array of interesting and provocative subjects with fascinating and erudite guests. If you're looking for grounded authenticity with a twist, you'll want to join us for a fast-moving and informative hour right here on Alternative Talk 1150.
Jamie Lemon is a licensed massage practitioner and has owned her practice in Kent, Washington since 1998. Through her own personal life experiences, she's been guided to many different natural healing modalities. After experiencing the benefits, she became certified in modalities, allowing her to share them with those interested. Schedule your private session with Jamie today at kentmassage.com or call 253-332-7318.
On Wednesday, August 31st at 7:30, the Moore Theater in Seattle will welcome Songs of the Soul, a celebration of the soul's yearning for peace. This concert will feature soul-stirring music using varied modes of musical expression. International performers will perform classical and modern, Eastern and Western, tranquil and fast-paced, contemplative and joyful avenues to expand and enhance the listener's experience. The event hopes to create an environment for each person to embark on an inner journey of peace and self-discovery. The concert is offered free of charge. However, tickets are required because seating is limited. So please call in advance to reserve your seats at 206-883-0082. For more information about the music and performers, please see the website songsofthesoul.com. Songs of the Soul, August 31st at the Moore Theater. More information is online at songsofthesoul.com.
Find our app in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and take us with you wherever you go. Alternative Talk AM 1150.
I got it. Welcome back to Silver Gaia Show. Hey, I'm going to take a couple callers. What do you think?
I think that would be great.
So we're going to open up our phone lines at 425-373-5527.
All right.
All right. So if anybody wants to call in about this, we're willing to take a couple calls. So anyway, back to what's happened during the break.
Okay.
I got off, took my headphones off, and wanted to do the happy dance.
Yeah.
She's feeling good.
Oh, good.
I'm feeling good.
Good.
So I think other people can do the same.
Oh, I know they can.
Because like I said, I've done this in seminars with 250 people, right?
Right.
And now I just did it on the air. And I was like, my headphones were sweating. My ears were hot. My body was hot. And now it feels like all of a sudden the air conditioner got turned on.
Mm.
So that's how much anxiety that was being caused to me.
Right.
So I'm wondering how much is left, all the anxiety that's left now is going to calm down a lot in my personal life.
Right.
And maybe I won't be fluttering around like a little fairy quite as much.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I believe that's true because once you release something, recognize it and release it, you are on a new path of healing.
Right.
And joy, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think so. Mm-hmm. So what can we do to help others, though? That's my question with this. How can we get the message out more? Sana, have any ideas?
Just the first thought that came to me was love and accept people.
Yes.
Yes. But they have to come to you first.
That's what I was thinking.
I was going to say before the break, if I could share a quick story.
Sure.
But this is a perfect example of your point. Before then was I had a really good friend who I thought was a good friend, but ended up not being a good friend. But what she did was she introduced me to the person who really helped me change my entire life.
Wow.
So that was her purpose in my life, which obviously at the time I didn't get that. But, 15, 20 years later, I get it. But she really introduced me to the person who I feel like is my mother, the mother my mother sent for me, a woman on this planet who could be physically there for me.
Right.
But she's also my mentor and my best friend, and she's taught me, she basically empowered me to be able to change my own life, with a certain set of tools and learning how to become a responsible person because as you spoke about in the first hour of those emotional vampires, I was an emotional vampire for the first 20 years of my life because that was what my family of origin had taught me to do.
Right.
So that was about how I could survive and get my needs met. Right. I couldn't ask for them. That wasn't okay. So I just took them.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people are, as it goes back to that woundedness, like your story. I mean, a story we all have. It's the human condition. Nobody's exempt. From this. But, and so, really, I just kind of go out into the world and I want to attract people that want healing. They want to do the work themselves. Because I don't heal people. I don't fix people.
We're just a conduit.
Exactly. Yes. It's just a matter of, I have all kinds of tricks and tools and offerings and I can listen and, and love you, to teach you to love yourself. Because we're not taught that. Right. I mean, I don't know if I've met anyone whose parents have really ever did a good job of teaching them to love and accept themselves.
That's where, with my mom, she did. That's where I'm different.
Right.
Where
lucky.
I really am lucky that way because my mom, I didn't lose my innocence or my abilities because more people, when you have such a traumatic situation, you lose your abilities. You use lose that innocence. Excuse me, with the teeth. I'm so anyway. But you're losing that. With my mom, I didn't lose that. She kept me so grounded and open, where we couldn't go forward. And the type of family I grew up in was like we don't want the rest of the family, blah blah blah. Right. It had to be quiet. But my mom. She kept it really where I didn't have to lose me. I didn't have to hide me who I was.
Yeah, that's huge.
And so a lot of people, when it happens to them, they go extroverted or introverted and stuff. And I just stayed the same. And excuse me, and boundaries have always been there since I was a child.
Right.
So when I came back with my memories and my goddess memories, especially, and knowing that the goddesses were always around me and the fairies and elementals, all elementals, right?
Right.
Of the heights of light. And they always kept me grounded. And I thinking back, I would go, and we had a swimming pool, right? So I go back in the swimming pool constantly. It would be during the day, right? Or my mom would yell and say, I'm having a really bad day. And all of a sudden I hear her screaming my name and she found a little skunk. And And I turned it into my bed.
Oh.
And, I'm thinking about all the things I did with my mom, how she kept me grounded.
Yeah.
And so my dad would build like a rabbit cage type thing, right? Mm-hmm. And that skunk stayed with me for a long time. Oh. Didn't spray me. It sprayed my brother. I told him to leave my skunk alone, but he wouldn't. He got sprayed. It was funny. I started laughing. Or the deers would walk through the yard, right? And, we had this we didn't live in the country, but my mom was from Germany, right?
Right.
And so she liked geese and everything, right? We had this really mean white goose, right? And it would chase my brother, flapping its wings and stuff. I'm thinking, what do you do that? First my skunk, now the goose, right? Mm-hmm. But that's how she kept us kids grounded, especially me. Wow. Because I was a little different than the rest of the kids. And she knew that, from her own abilities that she had. And so, but if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be as grounded as I am.
Right.
And being able to face these things like I am daily.
Right.
And so my new thing is now I'm beautiful no matter, what.
It's really important to be healing the inner child.
Right.
To, for any situation that you need to sit down, make time to connect because that child wants to talk to you. Mm-hmm. And that child still thinks he has to protect you when you're an adult. And that child needs to know that you love them and you're an adult now and you are protecting them. And so it can now play.
Right, right.
And not having to protect you all the time and letting you be the protector.
Me. Right.
And that. And the child inside can be the child.
And don't let me see another chocolate bar for a while.
Well, that's on you.
I'm serious. No, seriously. Yeah. I just thought, like I said, I'm drinking this because it's right here, right? Because our mouths get dry talking, right? But it was like, chocolate, you're out the window.
Right.
Now
I can understand
is so
why.
calm now.
That's,
so that nervousness that I've always had is calm.
Yeah.
And I want other people to know that we're out there for them.
Yes. You're not alone.
No. And I knew that from the seminars I've done before.
Because a lot of parents, but there's a lot of parents that don't listen.
Right.
What can they do if your parent's not listening? How do you heal from that?
That's a big one. That's big. And I went through a situation, something like that, but not with my mom and dad.
Okay.
And this person didn't want to listen. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and that stayed with me for like 20 years.
Well, yeah.
But now her and I are very close and it's done. But it was a family member.
Right.
I'll tell you that. And, I don't want to listen to this.
Right.
Literally, that's what was said. I don't want to listen to this. Not that I'm a kid making this up. She goes, I don't want to listen to this, Brie.
Right.
But, that was her way of handling it. But she saw later on in years how it affected me.
Right.
When I hit, 17, 18 years old, right? And so, but luckily, the ancient goddesses worked with me constantly, and the ceremonies and, and constant working in the waters and in the flowers and different things to help me, even though I can't grow flowers to save my life to this day. But my mom was great at it, right?
Right.
But who knows now that I've healed that, maybe that will change. Maybe I will be able to start working with flowers again.
See?
Because I loved working with flowers. And I was like, why can't I? Well, maybe that was the problem. And now I just go forward now. And that's what other people need to know. If they can't, go forward by talking to somebody they know, then find somebody they don't know. Because sometimes your best person to talk to is a person that does not know you.
Yep. Correct.
And another thing that's real sad is I know we're all worth the money that we what I want to say is what our soul is available for, right?
Right.
Okay. But if they don't have the money right now, Stephanie, you and me and Shauna, we're there to talk. It doesn't cost nothing to talk for a few minutes.
No, it doesn't.
And help in any way we can. And I don't know if people will reach out, but the option is there. And it's going to be on the websites. And, there's a link for you, Shauna, on my website. And, for everybody to get a hold of us and stuff. And so, the one thing I say is, and if you're wanting to research more on it, and they want to listen, you want to do this on your own. There's great books over at Crystal Voice because I saw them today, by the way. on this subject.
Great.
And, you know, where they can go over and get some books to help them too.
Yeah.
And it's important. Don't let anybody, and that's the reason, one of the reasons for energy vampires. Because here's the thing, is that what happened to me is a form of energy vampire.
Yes.
Okay? Vampirism, however you want to say it and stuff. I have a real thing about them. I can't stand them.
Mm-hmm.
And a victim will play the energy vampire, right? Yep. And we're talking about victims, and I'm not a victim. I never have been a victim. I've just been mad, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, like I said, you may have touched me, but you didn't take my soul, my spirit, or my innocence from me.
Right.
You know, and so it's like, don't let an energy vampire play a victim role. Don't let them do anything like that, because they're just going to be sucking you and sucking you and sucking you, and it's done.
Yeah.
You know, some people may look at it different. I'm more harsh about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know they exist. I know that they're down in different secret clubs, how they handle it and stuff. And it's like, not for me. Stay away from me. Right. And if you're in the psychic world and you're working with people and you are doing this, shame on you guys, because I might catch you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really not okay.
Yeah, I'm going to roll now. That's it. That little girl's healed. So, well, Steph, is there anything else that we can think about that would help them with energy vampires?
Well, I really want people out there I want them to know that we're all capable of doing this.
Right.
We're all capable of taking someone else's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know who you are because you do it all the time. But I really want you to look at yourselves and go, am I sucking the energy of the person I'm talking to on the phone?
Right.
At the restaurant, at the gas station, you know, be vigilant on knowing that, hey, this is not how I want to be perceived, you know, and work on yourself. If you see it in yourself, work on yourself and help me out.
Well, no, and here's the thing. Okay. I know, help you out. Okay. So no problem. Because here's the thing I can't stand.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody listens to me.
Right.
When I hear that, it's like, you're got to be kidding. You're yelling so loud. I'm listening.
I mean, everybody's listening. You're not.
You know?
Because they're telling you.
And so just because I couldn't talk about this on the air for years ago before, I can now.
Right.
And look at 444.
Yay.
Mastery numbers right now.
Right. Nice.
You know? Hello, Ascended Masters, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so, you know, when they talk about, we can't talk about this or we can't say that or whatever and stuff, right? Nobody's listening. I can't handle this no more. I'm going to throw a fit like a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's being an energy vampire.
Blaming other people for your problems.
Right.
And then you want people to help you and you won't listen.
So I could
Energy vampire.
Who was I going to blame for when I was 9 years old? The person that did it.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel sorry for that person who did it because they had to face me when I was 50 years old.
Right.
And it was like, I felt sorry for that person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's not forget that sexual abuse is normally something that is a recurring concept, especially in the family system.
Well, and here's the thing that was with my family. I'm adopted. Okay, so this was really preordained with my mom, right? Because my mom got the phone call, a little girl was born, and 6 hours later she goes and picks me up from Tacoma General, right, in a box with a pink blanket. She was stopped at Walworth, that used to be down here, right? Woolworths, there you go. That's how much I know. Walworth. Walgreens, Walworth, whatever. Anyway, Woolworths grabs a pink blanket with literally a box. My dad's at work, right? Runs up, comes and gets me, puts me in the car, and takes me home.
Mm-hmm.
And here I have all the abilities she has.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know, but
Crazy.
then you know what I found out? She's was the head of my soul family. No wonder she had to come and find me to get me. And then the person that gave birth to me lived behind our house, kitty corner, and did not know that.
Wow.
For years, because I had searched out my birth mother, you know, because we're all kind of curious, right?
Right.
And I'm going, oh, thank goodness I had the mother I had. The grass was not greener on the other side. She can stay where she's at and wait for me, you know. But anyway, but the thing about it is we pick out our families. And even though I had to come through another mother to get to that, even though this happened to me, they don't look like it was wrong at the time because I was, quote, adopted, you know. I mean, I had a cousin that wanted to marry me. That's kind of, I was like going,
husband?
I was like going, I love you. You're my cousin, but I'm not marrying you. And he did nothing wrong to me.
Right.
You know, but it was just like, well, you're adopted. It doesn't matter. You're still my cousin, guys. Eric's over there going, I cannot believe Brie's talking about this today.
It's all good. Let's get it all out there.
I'm telling you. So it wasn't that I had a screwed up family. It was just that because of being adopted,
right?
You know, he felt that way. And then my parents talked to him and stuff.
Right.
And I felt sorry because I seen him crying, right? I said, I was thinking, Mom, what did you do to him? I explained that you're still part of his family, no matter if it's blood or not. You are a child. And so, but, excuse me, I'm clearing a lot of stuff out of me. Sorry, guys. I'm kind of choking and going, But, you know, all these things need to be brought out. And people, there are people out there that are willing to help. Mm-hmm. And I know they're probably uncomfortable, probably calling the radio station and be on the air. This happened to me. That's why I want them to know. They can call, go to our website, silvergaia.net, and they can find out things. They can find us on the KKNW Alternative Talk stuff also, where they can find out information, get a hold of us, and it can be very private and confidential.
How do you let go or forgive somebody that has passed?
Well,
same process. I think. I mean,
because
that's what I've had to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm. My mother died when I was 16. So, you know, I had no standard for a relationship there. So, but there was all kinds of woundedness there. So it is challenging, and you really got to be committed and get hooked up with the right people. But absolutely, it's just all internal job.
Right.
Well, which is what all forgiveness is, and letting go. But, you know, I didn't let go for her, you know. Right. I mean, I had to forgive her for me.
Right. Right.
And I think there was an element of that there, too.
And I understand that because my dad and I were estranged, right? Because of my abilities, right? It really freaked him out, okay? I mean, it did, and that's okay, right? What's really fun, it's not funny, but it's really cool because he's actually in the studio, and he's constantly following me. He's my gatekeeper now. Wow. He's protecting me now. And everybody goes, aren't you mad at him for when he died? Nope. Because my dad had a problem, and it wasn't, you know, he wasn't the one who did anything to me. I'll put that right away out there. It was not in my immediate family, okay? And so, but he just didn't understand, you know, about me. And so I could just say, well, you know, things that happened in his childhood, you know, he didn't know how to show affection and love. Okay, that's the whole thing. Okay, he really did not know. And so I always blamed it on his parents and this and that. Well, after he passed, he comes through. And he goes, I am so sorry for not understanding you.
Wow.
And it came through another medium.
Right.
That talked about it, you know. Right. And now he's my permanent gatekeeper protecting me in this lifetime. But you know what? He's, you know, in a third way, right?
Right.
But it's like I constantly can feel him near me, around me, and my mom and different things and stuff that will come back and forth. But he stays put.
Right.
It's like, you're not going to hurt my daughter now. You know, and he's gone to, like Susan's called it heaven school, right? And I really claimed onto that because it was like he did his schooling and came back fast and said, you don't need to forgive me. I am wanting your forgiveness. So I forgave him.
Right.
And now he's a gatekeeper, and now we have such an open relationship.
Yeah.
No. And he'll say, watch out for this, watch out for that. And that happens. Awesome. Yeah. So if you just really listen. So if you might have that feeling like when you're opening a door, you're saying, wait a minute, I better check something first.
Right.
You know, there's times I've went in the car. I go, did I turn off the stuff? Did I do this? I go back and check everything. I'm going, oh, yeah, I forgot to say bye to everybody.
Right.
You know, I forgot to invite my guides and everybody with me, right? And that's one thing that people need to understand. If you don't have your call upon your guides, there are times your guides are just crying out and literally with tears and saying, you haven't asked me for help, so how can I help you guys?
Right.
That's something that irritates me because it's like, why are they there then if we're not asking them to help us? They're just not carte blanche. You know, they have a job to do. So why aren't we asking them?
Yeah.
I know I ask mine every day to help me with things.
Every day. You too, huh?
I do too.
Yeah.
Whether it be like, somebody send me a magical being here to clean up my house. I clean up, help sweep floors, whatever, right?
I do it to come here. I asked them, come with me here.
Right. And
Stick
that's
with me today.
Right. And that's exactly what we do every time, every day. We stay with us, stay with me, protect my property.
Yeah.
There's times I ask Archangel Michael to come in. I ask him a lot, actually. Put angels around my property, selenite pillars up, etheric shield. I'm doing all this stuff, right? And people are going, why do you go through all that for protection? Just to make me feel comfortable and safe.
Well, yeah.
Because I leave all the time. I want my home safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not just for my animals, but for my own personal being.
Yes. It's a form of protection.
Right.
They give us these little tricks we can use, which make us feel much better.
Right.
And
they're tools.
They're tools. Absolutely.
Right. So when people say, I'm a healer, they say, you're a healer. I said, no, I'm a conduit for Archangel Raphael and Spirit and the Mother Goddess Gaia.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Healer, for some reason in our current situation in society, healer comes off as, I have the power to fix you.
Right.
And I run into that all the time. And you should see my clients' faces when I say, well, I won't work harder than you. That's often the point where I don't see them again, and that's okay. That's the whole reason, because I don't really want you there unless you are ready.
Right. Yep.
And I mean, I know if you're ready
Usually,
or not, as soon as I meet you, but I get it out of the way within about the first 10 minutes. I mean, in a kind and loving way, like Susan was saying, but it's like, I just want you to know, I can't do your work for you.
Exactly.
Well, have you ever had, I know, a kind and loving way? Okay, so sometimes Brie can be that kind and loving way. And I just want to shake him and say, don't you get the point? I busted my butt on months for you, and I can't do it no more.
Right.
Now, either you're going to do the work and do your journey, smiling and laughing, or you're not going to do your job at all. Which one are you going to do?
Right.
Because we can't fix you in one day. And so, I mean, some people want everything done all in one day, and I'm going, $600 an hour because I'm going to be here for a long time, and I want to earn my money this time.
When you spend time with healers, you will notice that we work on ourselves every single day.
And if we don't, we're no different than anybody else.
No. You have to take what you know and put it to work for you. Or you're not going to, it's just useless information to you. You're just going to hide it in some part of your brain and, healers. Yeah, I know all about them. No. Not if you don't.
No.
If you're not going to do the work.
Yeah.
No.
That's the way we heal.
Right.
And sometimes we have to cancel a session because we're having something come up that we have to deal with, and it would be irresponsible of me professionally to go out and with this particular energy or struggle that I'm having and lie to myself and assume that I can work with you.
Well, it's like I was asked if I'd start some classes again, right? And I'm going to, but I had to get myself settled with one other project I'm working on, and then I'm going to start the classes again, right?
Right.
It would be irresponsible for me to set up these classes right now in the frame of mind of setting up other projects first. I have to do task after task. I can't just stop what I'm doing and not do this. So, but anyway, I want to thank you guys for supporting me today.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
It was
awesome.
Oh, thanks.
You should see the smile on her face.
Yeah. No, when you deal with this stuff, your faces change. I've seen it time and time again in these workshops I work with, and your face is different. Today, your eyes are more open, and you have beautiful color, and you're smiling. And
somebody told me that this morning. They said you look so beautiful this morning.
It's the healing glow.
It's the healing glow.
Now I know what to call it.
The healing glow.
The healing glow.
Oh,
the healing
great
glow.
name for a show. Okay. The healing.
So thank you so much for coming back here with us, Shauna, because you needed to be a part of this. Because when you brought up the chocolate, I knew what it was about, and we're outside talking about it. I was like, that's it. I want you back here. Yeah. Because if you hadn't brought up why I was eating chocolate, I would have never felt that. And we were on the air. Yeah. When it came in, it was like, oh my gosh. Nice. And I couldn't say it right then and there. I needed to process and get ready, And so it was a week that, what can I say? It was hard on the inner child. It was hard on the I am. It was hard on all. Me, myself, and I is how I put it.
But you recognized.
Right.
I mean, you were led to the person so you could recognize what you needed to work on healing your inner child.
Right.
And I give you kudos for even recognizing.
Well, thank you.
Because we do need to recognize
And
our
I really
thoughts and feelings.
I really thought I did heal her till I heard the chocolate part, and that's when I realized I hadn't. So next week we're gonna have a great show. It's just gonna be you and I.
Is it?
It is.
All right.
We're gonna talk about the new energy more.
Good.
And a whole bunch of stuff is gonna come in, and we're gonna talk about that. And I just want to thank everybody for listening. And Stephanie, would you please read what you wrote today, because I love it, and then we're gonna end the show.
All right. Well, this came to me actually last night, believe it or not. And I wrote this down. It says, try not becoming frustrated with the people that that are trying to awaken you. Try being more observing to the people.
We can't waken you up.
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much for our first 2-hour show, and we'll see you next week.